the game that she'd love to play with me when I came home with a big problem or I was mad at somebody. She didn't have the list that she could tick off.
Before Rachel became one of Hollywood's most controversial breakout stars, she had a Cinderella story. She was discovered by Steven Spielberg, yes, the Spielberg, and given the kind of opportunity that most actors spend a lifetime chasing. He handpicked her for the lead in his West Side Story remake after seeing her YouTube videos. Not an agent, not a studio exec, Spielberg himself.
The high bar was set by Rachel Zegler on the first day of casting. And I just kept looking and looking and looking, and she was the bar that no one reached. No one could reach as high as Rachel reached that first day.
Critics said she had the X factor. Her voice, her presence, her charisma, it all clicked. And when she gave interviews, she came off humble and wide-eyed, saying things like, "I still can't believe this is real."
Cast Rachel when she was 17. She was a senior in high school when she got the part.
But here's the twist. Spielberg would later regret bringing her into Hollywood's spotlight. Back on the set of West Side Story, he reportedly started noticing red flags. Rachel, according to crew, was opinionated, demanding, and clashed with choreographers, even as a total newcomer. At first, everyone brushed it off. That's just young energy, right? A little creative confidence? But some insiders now say Spielberg was so frustrated by the behind-the-scenes friction that he warned Disney when they cast Rachel as Snow White. Why the warning? Because her behavior wasn't limited to a few suggestions. She challenged creative choices. She interrupted rehearsal flow, and on more than one occasion, she allegedly ruined complex camera shots, then blamed it on being unclear what to do.
Stick a camera down, and I'm also going to get Rachel filming with the fantastic snowy mountains. And Rachel, where'd you go?
I was unclear.
That's all right. My bad.
Spielberg never said this publicly, but when Snow White flopped and Rachel became the face of Disney's biggest PR disaster in years, he stayed silent. And in Hollywood, silence from Spielberg is louder than any official statement. Coming up next, we break down the tension that built up behind the scenes, including Rachel's on-set conflicts, political rants, and the exact moment Spielberg started pulling away. Steven Spielberg didn't speak publicly, but behind the scenes, he was reportedly sounding the alarm. During production on West Side Story, Rachel Zegler wasn't just giving notes. She was challenging direction. Crew members claimed she frequently clashed with choreographers, resisted creative calls, and inserted herself into decisions that typically came from the top. This behavior didn't stop with Spielberg. It would continue at Disney with Snow White, where she pushed to minimize the prince's role and called him a stalker.
You've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
At first, fans gave her a pass. Critics chalked it up to youthful passion, but insiders said Rachel could be difficult to work with, often rejecting notes, slowing down production, and refusing to reshoot scenes she didn't agree with. One crew member recalled her ruining a complex camera shot, only to say afterward, "I wasn't clear on what to do."
Stick a camera down, and I'm also going to get Rachel filming with the fantastic snowy mountains. And Rachel, where'd you go?
I was unclear.
That's all right. My bad.
And then came the politics. Rachel was already active online, but once filming wrapped, she began making statements that created tension even among cast members. Her anti-Trump takes, aggressive tweets, and conflict with Gal Gadot over the Israel-Palestine issue became headline fuel.
People are assuming that Rachel and Gal did not get along because obviously Rachel has promoted Free Palestine. Gal obviously is Israeli and is Jewish and has spoken out on behalf of the hostages. So politically, it seems they're in opposition.
Things escalated when rehearsal footage resurfaced. One TikTok shows Rachel mid-rehearsal, while the rest of the cast watches silently, many looking visibly uncomfortable.
It is the real beginning of my life as a young lady of America.
Okay, abilities.
And of America.
At this point, the industry started splitting. Some praised her confidence. Others saw arrogance, especially when she showed up to a Snow White screening with friends, only to find the theater completely empty.
2 tickets, please.
For which movie?
And instead of owning the Snow White flop, Rachel deflected blame. She pointed fingers at the Minecraft movie and even blamed the environment. Anything but herself. The disconnect? Behind the scenes, Spielberg had seen these red flags. The clashing, the delays, the political distractions. And now that Rachel was front and center in Disney's biggest PR disaster, insiders say he was no longer surprised. Steven Spielberg didn't have to say much. His silence spoke volumes. After West Side Story, fans expected Spielberg to publicly support Rachel Zegler during the Snow White rollout, but he didn't. Instead, in every interview and award segment, he shifted the spotlight to Ariana DeBose.
Came into audition, she was a great dancer. So the first thing I noticed about her was her dancing. I didn't know about acting and I didn't know about singing. And so like everyone else, she had to come in for a dancing audition. Her personal charisma, it was alive and vivid in the room. And I kept thinking, once I get her on video during these rehearsals, I bet she doubles down on that.
Insiders say Spielberg was in awe of Ariana's discipline, her attitude, her professionalism. Meanwhile, Rachel, who had once been his chosen star, was barely mentioned, and behind the scenes, rumors swirled that Spielberg had called her horrible to work with. Then came Snow White, a $250 million remake, a supposed career-defining role. Instead, it became one of Disney's biggest box office disasters. The film lost an estimated $600 million and triggered a full-on panic at Disney. Remakes like Tangled were quietly canceled, and fans blamed Rachel for the film's collapse. Why? Because it wasn't just a flop. It became a symbol of everything audiences hated about modern Disney. Rachel had insisted Snow White be rewritten as a fierce, independent woman who didn't need a prince.
Saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
But fans didn't see empowered. They saw preachy. They saw a beloved fairy tale stripped down for political messaging, and Rachel became the face of that mistake. Parents online said they no longer trusted Disney's storytelling.
What is your problem with Disney?
Well, right now, everything. I thought, as a parent, I had kids that I would be able to put in front of the television watching a Disney movie while I was doing some work or while I was doing something else. And I thought, they're perfectly safe with Disney movies. Come to find out, they're not safe.
Rachel's excuse? She blamed Minecraft. She claimed the box office collapse was because of competition, but her comments went viral for all the wrong reasons, and quickly became meme material. Meanwhile, Snow White was pulled from thousands of theaters after multiple empty screenings. Theaters replaced it with Minecraft, which was drawing actual crowds. And when people expected her to fix it, Rachel skipped press appearances, avoided tough questions, and disappeared from red carpets, making it look like she didn't care. Even Gal Gadot allegedly refused to help salvage the film's image after Disney begged her to step in. She reportedly said it was already too late. Now she's reportedly considering legal action against Rachel, claiming her political behavior damaged Gadot's own reputation and cost her future film roles.
Ongoing backlash related to Snow White, Gal is already doubling down on her legal plans against Rachel Zegler after she made more warnings against Zegler. Now this comes shortly after Zegler reportedly already informed Gal and her team that she will be sharing her side of the story about the creative issues and their personal problems related to Snow White.
And where was Spielberg during all of this? Silent, which, in Hollywood, is a verdict. At this point, it's not just internet drama, it's career damage. Spielberg, the very person who launched Rachel Zegler, has remained dead silent through all of it. No defense, no clarification, no endorsement. And in Hollywood, that silence is a statement. Studios noticed it too. Once Snow White collapsed and Rachel's public image kept spiraling, she reportedly started disappearing from active casting lists. Not officially blacklisted, but slowly erased. No calls, no callbacks, no one willing to take the risk. Why? Because Spielberg's silence says everything they need to know. He was the one who told Disney to cast her. He vouched for her. And now, he won't even mention her name. Behind the scenes, producers are calling it a reputational hit. Spielberg's name doesn't get thrown around lightly, but after 2 flops and multiple controversies, even he allegedly regrets pushing her to Disney, especially with the amount of backlash he's had to endure quietly. Meanwhile, Rachel's new London stage play just bombed too. Ticket sales dropped to near zero within days of opening. And instead of addressing any of it, she's kept her head down, avoiding press, skipping events, and limiting her comment sections online. Even her defenders are going quiet, and her critics louder than ever. Megyn Kelly slammed her for playing the victim and pretending she was underpaid, despite starring in 2 of the biggest projects of the last few years.
Every time she speaks, she gets less likable. There's some clip of her on the internet in her Snow White outfit saying, "Every hour I am in the outfit of Snow White wearing the dress. All 18 hours, I deserve to be paid for every single one." Oh, really? Are you having trouble paying your bills, Rachel? Did Steven Spielberg not pay you for your role in West Side Story? Did Disney fail to give you a healthy paycheck for, like, cry me a river? She's just exactly everything that we can't stand.
And as the blacklisting rumors grow, insiders now say Rachel Zegler's name is basically a cautionary tale in casting rooms. Not because she lacks talent, but because Spielberg's quiet regret set off an industry-wide red flag. If the most powerful director in the world can't vouch for you anymore, who will? Do you think Rachel can recover after this? Should Spielberg have done more, or was his silence already too loud? And is this the end of casting internet-famous actors over seasoned professionals? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're watching closely and featuring the sharpest takes in the next video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.